Okay, this is take two. Sorry about that. So we're looking at subordination and coordination in sentences. Two key things you need to understand here is subordination and coordination. By the way, this is on page, I want to say 60, we did 62 today, 63, 64. Let's be safe, call this page 65 in your notes, okay? Page 65, please do not forget, okay? I'm not going to give you guys the questions. You guys do have to go back and do that kind of stuff, okay? So make sure that you're putting it in Cornell format, all that good stuff. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide. Remember, coordination, subordination. Coordination, just remember fanboys, okay? There should be a poster up in the room by the time you guys take these notes, but just don't forget fanboys. I forgot what I was going to tell you guys, so I'll tell you guys afterwards. Let's move on and give you guys a couple of minutes. Don't forget you can pause and rewind this stuff if it's too much. Remember, the star is your big idea. Coordination, whenever we're using coordination in a sentence, basically you're putting two sentences together, kind of like when we're using the semicolon. Don't forget the semicolon. But what we're doing with coordination is we're giving equal attention to two items. Okay, so we're putting two sentences together, but both sentences are just as important. Okay, and then here's where we use fanboys over here. It's out of order. I should have done a better job with that, but this is where we use it. The and, but, for, or, no, nor, yet, and so. Okay, like I said, don't forget fanboys. So when we're using coordination is whenever we're putting two sentences together using these words. Okay, so here we have the dog ate Marvin's favorite tie, and here is our coordinating conjunction, and the cat rubbed white hair on Marvin's black suit. So both clauses, each one's a clause, each one's a sentence, but we put them together and they can stand alone. They make sense by themselves. So we could, if we wanted to, take out the and it would not, we can make two separate sentences, okay? No, you don't have to draw the gorilla. If you don't know what kind of question you could create for this for your notes, something simple would be like, what is coordination? For those of you guys who still have trouble with that kind of stuff, okay? The next slide, when it goes, is it going? Wrong one, sorry. Okay, this is what you guys learned already previously, right? You can also coordinate using a semicolon. So we have our main clause, and you guys have to remember that a clause, remember we said a clause equals a simple sentence, okay? Don't forget that. And if you don't remember this, you may want to, I know it's not part of your notes now, but you may want to add that somewhere, okay, if you forgot it. So here, when we had two simple sentences, the main clause here and the main clause here, okay, that's coordination as well, as long as they're the same, they're just as important, okay? If one idea is not as important as the other one, then we don't use coordination, we use something else. Then we have this idea of subordination. And like I said, if you have trouble with the question, what is subordination, right? That's if you have trouble. And I want to remind you guys, chop up your notes. Use symbols, text talk. I don't want you guys having to write this all out, okay? So subordination, when you use subordination, when you're putting two sentences together, less attention is paid to one idea, so the other one's more important, okay? Basically, you just have to remember that it's using a certain group of words. So if I tell you to use coordination, you'll use fanboys. If I tell you to use subordination, you'll use this long list of words I'm going to give you in a second that you'll all complain about. Okay? We have conjunctions, subordinate conjunctions like this stuff right here. Because even though when, okay, there should be commas in here, but I think I dropped them. I don't know how I did, but I forgot. Okay, and we have an example over here. Okay. This is subordination. Since Marvin tried to clean his suit, he was late to the interview. The idea that's more important is this one, right? He was late to the interview. Okay, the idea that's less important is that he tried to clean his suit. I know it's kind of hard to understand that, but the big thing you have to look at is this stuff right here, the subordinating conjunction. When you see those, then you know we have subordination going on. Okay, here is a huge list of subordinating conjunctions. Yeah, you're probably going to say, do I need to write it all down? Do I need to write it all down? I know you're not going to always memorize them, but at least have a list so you guys can take a look. Okay, so you can know, hey, I see that word, that means subordination, like the since. The important ones, maybe you want, it's kind of hard to say, but you might want to copy down like the important guys like since and after, although, because, the once. Some of these are like super important. When you see them, you'll see them often. The whiles, right? Some of those, when you see them, you should think right away subordination. Okay. I'm gonna guess you're gonna pause here, so I'm just gonna keep talking. When we do subordinate, when I tell you guys write a sentence using subordination, you want to use the comma. That is this guy. Okay. Just in case you don't know, the first part. So we have even though, if you look at the example over here, even though cat hair clung to Marvin's pant legs, this is the subordinating clause right here. Okay, so we use a comma at the end of that. He still got the job. This is the main clause. He still got the job. Okay, that's the one that's more important. Okay, another way you could check is that if you get rid of the first part, even though cat hair clung to Marvin's pant legs, if you got rid of that, this right here, he still got the job, is a complete sentence by itself. Okay, so that's another way you can double check. And last bit, you don't see this very often, but if you happen to subordinate the second of the two clauses, like we have over here, Marvin smiled at his success as, right? You don't use the punctuation, so it wouldn't be Marvin smiled at his success, comma, as cat hair. You wouldn't use the comma there, okay? There's no need for punctuation. Usually you'd find it the other way around though. This is why you don't always have to use the comma before the because. And like I said, if this, you need to pause, please pause. Okay, one last thing. It doesn't feel like a video if I don't do, so I decided I need to give you guys a lame joke. So here's my lame joke. Why are all the frogs? You guys want to see my frog? Look at the frog. Shoot, that is my frog. That doesn't even look like a frog, does it? No? I don't even know what that is. Frog. That's an awful frog. Okay, why are all the frogs around here dead? Wait for it. Wait for it. Why are all the frogs around here dead? You ready? 'Cause they keep croaking. Isn't that awesome? Tell me that's awesome. I think that's awesome. All right, don't forget to answer the 2 questions on Edmodo. Enjoy, look them over again, do your thing. Thanks.